All right, happy 4th of July weekend, everybody. It's the weekend, so let's go ahead and look at some charts. So, what I would like to do is first start off with the portfolio, look at this past week, look at some current positions that I'm in, start to look at the markets, the S&P, the NDX, look at some sector rotation. Then we'll jump into some AI stocks to see if they're still in favor, if it's time to the AI trade, and then we'll look at some overall trades that I'm looking to make, particularly in the metals, and then also in crypto. So let's go ahead and start off with the portfolio. So this past week, there was a lot of red. There was a lot of swings that just didn't hit. They had presented some setups, particularly in Netflix and some of the metals, but it was such a volatile week that once the setups were no longer there and were somewhat being invalidated, I got out. But I've kept my eye on them, and it looks like, particularly in terms of the metals and even in Netflix, the reentry, there was a potential reentry that I later took again on Thursday. But I'm looking to get back into these metals, particularly try to build out a position in there, hopefully on a reversal. Meta was disappointing. It came out with some news on Wednesday saying that they were going to sell excess capacity of AI, and it just didn't play out. It took back the entire move. Now it's looking like a short rather than a position, and I just exited. For the most part, the key to my strategy is that I don't let these losers get significantly big. So I'm not really impacting the overall performance of the portfolio, even on a week where a lot of my swings didn't hit. So I started out the week, I believe, at 92 something percent, and I'm at 89%. So that's kind of the basis of my strategy is to keep these losers small, so that way I can continue to swing at some of these other positions, and hopefully some of these hit. Now, some of these are just going to be short swings that may just last a week, maybe even longer. But there are a few of them, particularly in the Bitcoin futures and the ETHU, the crypto play, and some of the metals that I'm gonna hopefully add on either Sunday night or Monday morning. That could be asymmetric plays. There could be some big returns on those plays. So those are the ones that I'm looking at. There are some software positions that I took. We can go over those. Microsoft in particular looks really good. And in terms of Freshpet, I've waited for this thing to continue to fall, and it just hasn't. It keeps dropping around the $50-$60 area, and I just exit this coming week just because it's been a while. There's no reason to continue to hold it if it's not going to play out. My guess it was going to be a sub 10 single digit stock, but it hasn't really played out yet, so I may take it off. Let's look at the S&P. So, I have this strategy that I use that it has a high rate of hitting various targets where the structure of the chart shows that there needs to be repair. And this system, which I got from somebody else, is has a high probability of these targets hitting. I think it's something about 98, 99% chance that these targets are going to hit this year before the year's over. Now, I don't hang my hat on this, even though it's a high probability that it's going to happen. I don't sit around and wait for these things to happen, or my bias is not leaning to the downside. I base my entire bias on the chart. The chart will tell me where it's going. These are just, potential targets down the line if the chart indicates that it may be heading that way. But my bias is not leaning bearish right now, even though there's a lot. This is probably the most amount of targets I've had in a single year that have not gotten hit yet. So there's no, if these targets were to get hit, the thought is that I should start leaning bearish, right? But I'm not. The chart is not telling me to do that yet. So I base all of my information on the chart itself. Let's see if I can. So the S&P right now, it's just consolidating sideways. There's nothing really bearish here. It's putting in some higher lows, and if it breaks this slightly downtrend line, it's going to move higher. And telling me that yes, price is fluctuating around this 7,500 level, and you can see it respected at this level here. Came back down, some resistance at this level, found it as support, moved higher, came back down, broke through it, and then traded back above it, tried to use it as support again, but broke down, and now it's just bumping up against this resistance again. And chances are, once it breaks, and I want to anticipate this breaking because that's what the chart is telling me to do, and then moving much higher. And if you look at the overall picture in this thing looks like it wants to moon. I mean, it looks like it wants to go vertical. The next expectation is something like this, where it just goes straight up. Now, I want to be in it until it tells me to get out. Now, all of these moves right here were just opportunities to get back in because they all got taken back. So right now, the markets are telling me, to stick with it, to continue to look for further upside. And until that changes, that's what I'm going to do, because the other side of this type of behavior is not healthy. It's not healthy for markets to go vertical, because the other side of this is something that it's going to be very difficult to make money on. And so while it's remaining in this type of bullish pattern, try to make your money now, because on the other side, it's going to be difficult to short to the downside and make the kind of gains that so for the overall portfolio, 278%. Oops. Be 278% since last year, close to mid last year, and we've been getting close to 20-25% gains every year. That's not normal. This market is really juiced. It's on steroids, and it wants to go higher, is what it's saying right now. And I want to be a part of it. If you look at the NASDAQ, oops, the NASDAQ is just bull flagging up here. That's all it's doing. It wants to go higher too. It's putting in this kind of triangle pattern that if it gets back up and breaks this downtrend line, it's going to move higher. There's nothing bearish right here. And I know a lot of people on social media are, the AI trade is dead, time to get out, time to, we'll look to see if it is dead, but there's a lot of narratives out there that are suggesting that the market is going to go through this huge correction, and it very well may go through that type of correction and take back all of these vertical gains, but right now it's telling me that it's not ready yet, and to stick with it. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with side in the market. And if we look at the sectors in the S&P, this chart's a little messed up now. Screwed it up. So you can see that technology is this blue line down here, XLK. And so it looks as if money's rotating out of here into the out of technology into the healthcare, the financials. The financials is green. All these things are shooting up, are moving up. Utilities, consumer staples, real estate. What else? Purple is what is it? Materials. Communications is kind of trending higher, but it almost seems like rotations just moving into some of these other sectors that have maybe gotten down too much. As long as there's sector rotation happening, the S&P is not going to go down. It's just money going from one place to another. There's no exiting of the market. It's just shifting of the market from one area to another. So I don't expect there to be any sizable corrections. I don't expect these targets to get hit anytime soon, according to this chart. But we'll just continuously monitor it every week and see how it goes. But for right now, it's side. All right, so let's go over the AI stocks to see if it's to a bad. So I normally like clean charts. I normally like to look at a chart without any indicators or moving averages or anything, and just get an idea of what direction is it going, what's the trend, where are the certain levels that are being respected, and is there a setup to where we can make a trade and get a good return, a low get a good return. And in terms of we'll start off with these memory stocks. In terms of MU, it's particularly good sometimes to go ahead and put on moving averages just to get an idea of seeing the trend continue. Is the trend broken? What's going on? And I like to use this 8 and 21. Most of my trades are anywhere from 5 to 2.7 days, so they're not very long, but some of them can be long in terms of fresh pad, and I think rig was also 70 plus days. But it's good to look at these short moving averages. The yellow is the 8-day and the teal is the 21. And when you see a cross of the 8 going through the 21, you start to see a bit of a correction, a downtrend, right? Zooms back up. The primary trend resumes back up. And you can see that it hasn't pinched yet. The 8 hasn't gone under the 21 yet. It's come down, but this could just simply be a correction. It could go sideways and continue to move sideways before moving higher again. So I don't see anything here that says the trend is over, it's time to get out. Support here is at 893. It'll probably be somewhere between there and 900 whole number. That it could continue to come down a little and still be trending higher. But nothing right now in Mu says, Micron says to get out. SanDisk has had a significant pullback, but overall the trend is still up. These haven't pinched yet to the downside or crossed, and there's still some room to come down, and it can still keep the trend up. It'll just be correcting. And every time this stock has corrected, it's been an opportunity to get in. So even here, it was an opportunity to get in. So I don't see anything bearish. Digital has come down quite a bit, and it looks like it's ready to, the 8's ready to cross under that 21. So this may get some more pressure to the downside. It has to 457 for strong support. It's a little bit under pressure in terms of the downside. NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is interesting in that in the past, when I traded it, it was putting in this kind of head and shoulders type of pattern. And it looked like it was ready to break below. It turned out that this was a bear trap. And it then took back this slight correction and went to all-time highs. And now it looks like it's doing the same thing. It's putting in this kind of head and shoulders pattern, and it's trying to break below this green line, which is, you may consider that the neckline. Doesn't want to stay down here. It wants to stay above this area. You may see it come down and then just go back, just fuel for another all-time high. But until you see, follow through to there's really nothing here bearish. It could just simply do the same thing it did before. There's just nothing bearish about this chart. I mean, corrected, but look when it's corrected before. It was just an opportunity to move much higher. So here that's bearish, even though there is strong support down here. There's nothing that suggests that it's going to come down and touch it. It's already crossed. So there's some weakness here. There's some pressure to the downside. So you could start to see some of these gaps or levels down here start to hit. And support is until about $200, 203. Intel, I mean, it's just going, but it's still in an uptrend. So I'm not seeing anything here in the, well, too soon. AVGO's had a problem ever since it had those bad earnings. I mean, it beat on I think it was a double, yeah, it was a double beat. But their guidance, something, I can't remember what it was, but something about their guidance said that they were going to spend more on their capex or something. I can't remember, but it wasn't light, and it's been getting downward pressure ever since. There was a cross of the 8 and 21 shortly after earnings, and every time it's tried to move higher, it's gotten rejected. So that one's definitely a bullish trend there. Val's come down quite a bit, and it looks like it's not there yet, but it looks like it's close to getting a pinch. Or is at 221. This thing has come up significantly in such a small or short time period. You would expect a size correction to happen, even at least below the gap here. It's like it's just putting in this kind of flagging pattern, putting in these series of higher lows, and it's eventually going to just break out. Nothing bullish there. I mean, nothing bearish there. Charts. See the pinch down here. It's crossed. It's putting pressure to the downside. It's probably going to test this support at 8170. Momentum crossed over here. Every fire has been rejected. So you may start to see more downside here. I bought some puts in Momentum and another portfolio. It really just skyrocketed, and unfortunately, some people in here were in it early when it was in like $80. It went over $1,000, and so it kind of got way ahead of itself. So I'm expecting some correction here. We'll see. Coherent, same thing. It broke support right here at the 334. I don't think it's going to come down to the two. I mean, I don't know, but it doesn't suggest that it's going to have this dramatic downturn. We can look at the option. As it possibly, if it can't keep support at 30, then it's probably going to come down to 300. The correction. There's nothing that indicates that the uptrend is over. Okay, now this is definitely over. This trend is definitely fill that gap. Looks like it wants to fill this gap. And these things are just really picking up momentum to the downside. One that to avoid. GE, Vernova. Turbines for the data centers. This thing is, I mean, even these moving averages are moving higher. So, I mean, it just wants to continue its trend higher. Data centers. Let's look at it. So, IREN, people are just so dirty. IREN announced that they're going to give the CEOs, the co-CEOs, 5% of the company in stock. And there's no stipulations associated with it. There's no hurdles, no certain accomplishments that they have to have. They got to get the stock up to a certain level. It's just simply, here's 5%. We know we paid you a lot in the past. We're going to continue to pay you, even though haven't really done anything since October 2025. It's gone nowhere. Why does this deserve a reward or a handout? Those companies are dirty, you know, because there are a couple of people on social media that board of IREN, and if you just go and read some of their posts, they're only in it for the money. It would not surprise me at all if the board did this because they were going to get a kickback. Because it's just, there's no reason to reward these people millions and millions of dollars at the expense of the shareholder. Because what? Unboxed a computer and plugged it in? I mean, you're not doing anything that's that anybody else couldn't do. I mean, I don't get it. I just don't get it. These Bitcoin miners, I hope this thing goes to zero, but they're just dirty companies. Case of the Bitcoin miners, they're viewed kind of as excess capacity. But if Meta's coming out and saying they have 30% of excess capacity, then these things are going to get hit significantly. And you can see CIFR came down quite a bit. It came down to support, and it's already crossed the moving averages. Nebulous is also it's getting ready to come down. Applied Digital, I mean, this thing broke trend. It's getting ready to take back a majority of this up move. these were viewed as excess capacity, and now Meta is saying that we originally thought we were going to use, we're not going to use anymore. And there's this you know commentary that's been going around that people are going to start using less and less tokens, when it was originally they were going to use excess tokens. They were going to use all the tokens they could get, because certain models, the token rich models that they wanted to use, they're realizing that they can get the answer from these lesser, more token efficient models. So they don't need to use all their tokens. And so that's going to decrease the capacity. And that's going to hit a lot of these miners, Bitcoin miners, more. And even though they haven't been trading with Bitcoin, they're going to get hit. So I took a position in Microsoft, and what I was looking at was this this kind of double bottom down here. So double bottom down here, but then it got back above this level, and I anticipated the break of this trend line here, where it was support originally, then it became resistance. It broke out above. It continued to try to remain support, but it broke down. And so it looks as if price wants to come back into this area where it traded before. And so I bought some calls, I believe. Yeah. The September 420 calls. And so that's right up here. It can certainly move higher up to this resistance level, and those calls will be significantly in the money and will contribute to me hopefully getting to 100% return for the year. I really like this position because it shows a clear reversal. It's broken above an area that was important, and now it looks like it wants to follow through and move higher. So I'll continue to watch this. I'm not going to build this position out because I think that this is just a swing trade. This is not an asymmetric trade. I'm not expecting Microsoft to revisit all-time highs up here. Maybe it does, but I'm not going to hold on to it. If it were to get back up to, I mean, we're going to anticipate a rejection here and exit if it were to move up there. I'd probably take some off the table if it hit my strike of 420, but I would probably take some more on the way up. I don't think we're going to get some kind of V-shaped reversal in these Mag 7 stocks that have been hit. It was a software play that got hit. It's just consolidating down here. There's really no play right now. Even though it's kind of putting in these higher lows, there's nothing really here that indicates it's ready to move higher. And it very well could be. I mean, it's gonna need to get over a lot of hurdles. But for now, there's really nothing to see here. Snow is the same case. Adobe looks interesting. I took a position in Adobe. Bought the shares at 220, and it's a little bit underwater, but it did fill the gap, and it looks like it wants to move higher. If it can get to this 424.60, then it may squeeze higher up to the 242. And again, with these software plays, I'm not looking for the asymmetric bet here. I'm not going to build out the position. I'm really just looking for a quick swing trade. Same thing with Workday. Workday is putting in these it's kind of a reversal pattern. It doesn't want to be down here. And so it's breaking up above this resistance level, or this key level right here. And it's able to move to the 142. There is some room to run. So I may leave If it gets up to here, I'm going to take majority of the profits. Even if it probably gets up to 153 or so, I may take majority of my profits and just leave some runners. I'm not expecting, workday. I'm not expecting returns on these software plays. Same thing with team. I'm not in team, but it looks to be reversing up here or down here, and there is a potential for it to go higher. So strategy came out, MicroStrategy came out, well, it's called Strategy now. They came out with a different business model now. They're wanting to prop up their stock. They're going to buy back stock by selling Bitcoin. Now, you would think that that would cause the price of Bitcoin to collapse, and I think a lot of us did, particularly when we saw MicroStrategy continue to go down, but it hasn't so far. And Bitcoin has been very resilient at this level. There's some congestion back here, but it does not want to go down lower. Originally, I was expecting for it to move down into this box area that corresponds with the time period at which all the other cycles have bottomed, and then higher, and that's between really September and January. And I was expecting one of these support levels to be the area where it would find support, and then I could take a setup to the upside from here. But it looks as if it's trying to keep support at this level, at the 60,852 level. Now, if you look at the way it's bottoming, this is not really the way. If you were expecting a significant move higher, this is not the kind of bottom you look for. This is reminiscent of, not to say it couldn't go higher, but this is reminiscent of the 22 kind of bottom where eventually it did take off. But there's no like capitulation. There's no significant move down and then a close up higher. A wicking type of candle here is just basing, and then eventually it just decided to take off. And that's usually what you want to look for, is something like this where it just comes down, there's some kind of capitulation, and then it moves higher. There's a clear rejection of a price down lower. See, this is similar to what we're seeing now, where it's just a basing pattern, and then it moves higher. Yeah, see it double. And then it just didn't want to stay down here, and it started to move higher. So, sure, you can, maybe in 2020 during COVID, that was probably a ridiculous wicking pattern. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, look, that's a bottom. There's no denying that. That is a clear bottom. When you see something like that, even if it got up to here, even it got up to 10,000, you can kind of suspect that the bottom is in when you see something like this. And then the very next week, it moves, it takes up more than 50% of the move down in this candle. The bottom is in, that's a clear sign. But it's not necessarily doing that right now. So there is a bit of hesitation, but even if it were to, potentially move higher, there's some gains there to be had. And right now I'm playing the futures. So I'm playing the futures. It's better to see this in the Thinkorswim chart than the TradingView. But you can see clearly that that the futures have bottomed down here and they're reversing up. And so even if it were just to go from see it better, even if you were just to move above this level right here at what is that, 63,800, I would probably add more contracts of the I bought the Q contract, and I bought two of them at 62,315. Now, it's priced higher than the previous month contract. So this is kind of 2 months out. So if it moves higher, it's going to that price will definitely go higher, but there could be a significant return up here. So my basis is I believe so if I were to buy a couple of more, then my average will be right in the middle here. So, you know, if it's able to get to the top of this range, that's going to be a significant return. And I got a good basis. So I want to build this position because this could be an asymmetric bet, right? We could take off. We've done that in the past before. And again, I don't know if it's something like this where it just moves up and then it corrects down further. So I want to be cautious, but if there is the potential for it to move higher, I want to add to the position as it's moving higher. See, it just didn't want to stay down here. There's another one that I was looking at. I think, yeah, the micro XRP contract, and XRP was the first crypto that I bought when I initially got into crypto. I had to buy it in the dark web. There was a super shady store that I went in. I downloaded the dark web onto my computer. Went into the store, bought XRP for 7 cents. I think I bought a few thousand for 7 cents, and then sold it at a little over $1, maybe a couple of months later. And it's setting up now in these micro XRP future contracts that it looks like this trend line is going to break right here, and you could get you could see it move back up into this area where it spent most of its time trading, which if you're able to capture this area to the upside, that's going to be a good return. My time to really buy was down here. You could see that just like Bitcoin, it just refused to go lower, and once it broke 1.1 or 1.09 area, that was the time to buy. And then you would probably add again on this break. And then if it broke this downtrend, you could probably add and then just capture a lot of this, a lot of gains in this space right here as it's coming up to this area where it traded. And if it wants to continue to run, good Lord, this could be a huge winner. This is the definition of an asymmetric bet. Is like could get some pretty outsized gains here, you know. So I want to be a part of this. I'm a little late to the party, but I want to be in it. See, my basis is going to be a little bit high now, so I'm probably going to add this on maybe Sunday night or maybe Monday. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Other thing that I wanted to go over is the gold. Just like Bitcoin, it doesn't want to be down here. It's wicking. You could see that there's just not a lot of volume to this downside, and it's rejecting these lows. You can see it quickly rejected it and moved higher, and now it's wanting to stay above here. It moved up to this other line that was respected. It was previously resistance, support, broke it, and then went back above, couldn't hold it, came back down, and now easily broke through it. That was the time to buy right there. And very minimal basis. And I can't remember, I added it to the portfolio here, 4092. The micro contracts, but I was, yeah, I mean, I anticipated this break right here, and I took it. I took a position right here, and I don't remember what kicked me out, but it was this. I saw a rejection, and I said, well, I'm not going to stay in it. And I should have stayed in it. But it's fine. Like I said, I want to keep my losers small, and there's always another time to get back in it. And so the time to get back in was when it did break above, and then you could see it never really tested this line again, and it just continues to move higher. So I'm probably going to get back into this Sunday night. Hopefully it comes back down closer to this line. I could take a position there. If it broke significantly down through this line, then that's a reason to get out. You know, I have an exit strategy, but I would like to probably buy a couple of micro contracts. Hold them, see if this downtrend line can break, and then I'll buy some more on the 42.36 area when that breaks. And you can see that you could get some outside returns. I'm not sure where I would add again, maybe on the break of here. Break right there at 4,400, and my basis will be down here. Some good buffering in case it does. If it does roll over, I can get out and kind of keep some of my profits. So this is one that I'm looking to get back into. Silver. Again, similar. It's just rejecting these lows. Now it's kind of flagging. This is kind of so it is getting above this level right here. Time to buy it was on this break. I'm gonna buy the metal, buy the futures contract. I may just play this with AG, First Majestic. We'll get back to Bitcoin in a minute, but let me play this with First Majestic. So I got out of First Majestic on Thursday thinking that silver was potentially maybe going to roll over. I didn't really like the pattern today. And then if it's able to break above this 1857 area, able to break above this 1857, then I'll add. And we'll adjust it as it's going up, because that could First Majestic could move quite a bit on if silver is able to resume its uptrend. So like I said, Bitcoin was rejecting these lows, even though it probably had a lot of reasons to continue down. It hasn't, and it's just been grinding higher. Like I said, I bought those few future contracts, and I'll probably add to them. But this thing looks like it wants to come up here to the 65,580 area and test that area. Now, if it breaks above there and it gets up to the 6726, this thing people can start chasing it because it's taken back all of this rejection. Feeling that would be a huge, the fuse will get lit right there to push it back up to the high 70s. So I definitely want to be in this. You could see how something like this, that there's potential here, right? Even in Ethereum, again, it's rejecting these lows down here. It doesn't want to be down here, and it's moving higher. And it's getting ready to test this 1820. I'm in ETHU, and I bought, say I buy shares, right? Yeah, I bought shares 1320. I'm in ETHU. You could see how just based on the Ethereum, this is something you want to take a swing at, because there could be an asymmetric play here. This thing gets above 2400. I mean, good Lord. It's just to sit in and collect the money, basically. Count your money like Scrooge, basically. So I wanna take a swing here. These other software or these AI companies that have really just gone asymmetric. There's really no play in them. So I'm just looking to see, in terms of those AI plays, if they're still going to push the market up. But even if there's sector rotation, you could still get this to move higher, especially if the Fed decides that, hey, we have no ambition to even think about a hike, because oil's coming down. If oil continues to come down, now it filled the gap. If it decides to come down to the lower, even the 60s, lower 60s, that could really push the Fed to say, inflation's coming down. There's no need to hike. That you're going to start to see some rhetoric come out that rate cuts may be back on the table, and that's going to definitely push crypto higher. It's continuously hitting the support area, and it's moving higher. The coin is really dominated by these options. So if it gets above, just say 179, 180, it's going to squeeze higher to the top of, towards this resistance area, 210. There's another stock that is dominated. So you could see it, it's showing this kind of reversal type of pattern. So you could see it move higher. eToro's, when I looked at the revenues, it looked as if a lot of it was crypto based. So I may keep an eye on this just to see if it's able to move higher. Certainly, if it gets up to the gets above the support area 44, and then moves higher to the 47, this thing could start to move higher significantly. It has a lot of room up here. I may get in if it's able to get up here to the maybe 47 area, maybe 4. Something like this would just be an add-on to the metals and to the crypto futures. somebody asked me to look at FICO. So it found some support. It put in a a higher low, sorry. And it wants to move higher, but it has this resistance area up here at 1330, 1320. Time possibly getting above that. And so the downtrend is still intact. I mean, it could certainly move up to this area, but it's going to need to break up higher in order for this trend to reverse. It's not to say it's not a good time to buy right now. Anticipating that it may break, but really it's just forming this kind of flagging pattern right now. Not sure how long this flagging pattern is going to go on. That's the tough part about it. But if it does break to the upside, it's going to be significant. It's been consolidating for quite a while. I'm not saying it's going to go there, but the pattern suggests that would be a measured move. We looked at gold already, silver, AG. Is that it? Nope. Has put in this nice bottom area. So it had support down here. It didn't reach the support, and it bounced. And now it's trading in this kind of area where it hasn't really traded a lot, but if it's able to break above this 82 area, it could trade into this area where it's traded quite a bit. So I bought shares at 70 or 77, and I bought I believe they're $100 strike calls. So I thought it was that it would come back up to this level up here. We'll see. We'll gauge it. It certainly put it in a reversal pattern. It got above the previous candle. I want to see some follow through next week to see it move higher. I'm not going to add to this position. I'm just going to play it as is. I already bought shares and options on it. There was one other chart I wanted to show you. Is OSCR. Right of the the healthcare moving higher. OSCR's been performing really well. So kudos to those who are in it. It got above the support area, and it's just maintaining its position up here. And the next target is $35. So it's continuously moving higher. It's like it just wants to start to trend, put in this long trend. So hopefully this thing will just continue to just trend higher. Those of you that are in it, would do really well. So that's pretty much it. I'll just keep it at that. And if there's any charts you want to look at, put them in the chat, and I'll add them to the list. Okay? Bye.